So today I'm gonna talk about the harsh reality of Punjabi courses. Why taking a Punjabi course won't make you fluent, and there's some very specific reason for that. Before taking any Punjabi courses, to listen this first, all right? Make sure you pick right Punjabi courses, all right? And maybe you're thinking, I'm gonna recommend my Punjabi course, stuff like that. No, I don't have any Punjabi courses, all right? But whoever you're gonna choose when you're gonna take in Punjabi courses, first of all, you should have your attention clear. Like you should know what you really need. But most of the time when you take Punjabi courses, maybe in past you took some Punjabi courses, the video lessons you find there, maybe some PDF files, stuff like that. And even still you are not fluent. So that's what we're gonna talk about that. So where is the problem? And there are a lot of Punjabi courses which basically promise a lie, they sell you a lie. Um or what do you expect? Or do you really need a Punjabi course? That's what we're going to talk about today's episode. So, whenever you take a Punjabi courses, maybe you get attracted towards those courses. They tell you if you took this courses, this is the beginner course, this is the intermediate level course. If you took these courses in 6 months, you're going to be fluent, whatever, or 3 months, you're going to be fluent. Most of them are a lie. Basically, when you wanna become or you want to become in any language, now currently we're talking about Punjabi. If you're complete beginner, you're not gonna be fluent in 6 months. If we talk about some very basic sentences, very basic talk about, you can be fluent in that on 1 year. All right, if you stay consistent. If you stay consistent, and remember, when I say the fluent in some basic conversation, you won't able to discuss like a bigger things or deeper conversations, but like a small conversation, very basic stuff, you can be fluent in that. So it means in a year you would be fluent in very little part. Maybe you talk about how was your day, you want to ask other people how was your day, whatever, you want to talk about a few things like that. So you can be fluent in that, all right? um Maybe a little bit more, but you're not able to be fluent completely, I think, in a 1 year, all right? If you're starting from the beginner, I think you need at least 3 years. So in 3 years, you can be really good. So it didn't mean you would know everything. So you would keep improving. But in 3 years, if you put effort, you're gonna be really good. Like you can understand Punjabi people. A lot of things, I think, like maybe 90% of the Punjabi you would know. And after that, like you don't need to worry about much, like because when somebody is talking, you most of the time understanding. But after even 3 years, you would be still improving. You would be still improving. For example, me, I now like when I started basically learning English, actually I was not like a beginner when I thought when I make my mind I wanna speak English fluently. Now it's like a 9 years, all right? It's 9 years when I'm speaking like consistently, almost every day, little bit, maybe not every day, but like a lot of practice when I'm speaking, doing this 9 years, all right? So I become fluent very quickly. Maybe, I was good in 6 months because I already know some English. I become like fluent in some basics, like a basic sentences or basic stuff, and my pronunciation is not good. But I was also speaking a little bit slower, but slowly, I think 2 years I was good, but I was still improving. Even if I check myself like a 5 years ago, and I improved. So you keep improving slowly, all right? So my point is, learning language is a long process. You are not gonna learn in 3 or 6 months. Keep in mind, because if you're gonna taking courses like you're gonna be fluent in 3 or 6 months, it's not gonna happen. you can be fluent in 1 year in some basic stuff, all right? And after that, I think 3 years is really good if you put effort. I think in 3 years, you can talk like a bigger topic, deeper conversations, but you still have some kind of, like you would be still learning new words or new phrases, new idioms through basically your conversation. Like after 3 years, you don't need to set and put extra like effort to learn any language or specifically Punjabi. After 3 years, you would be just learning with your experience. Maybe you're watching something, maybe talking to Punjabi people. Basically, you're living your life, interacting with the Punjabi and you're learning new things. Then it's going to be automated after 3 years, all right? Now, if you already know some Punjabi, you kind of intermediate level, you can have some basic, maybe you can be like fluent like on deeper, maybe 1 year or 2 years, depends on your effort. So my my main point is gonna take time, it's gonna take years, maybe 1, 2, 3 years, whatever. So if you take courses like a 6 month, 3 months, so it's not gonna happen, all right? And second thing, when you take courses, um, first of all, the courses are a tool. If a course would say like maybe they say, okay, you're gonna be fluent in a year or 2 years. Now maybe it looks more realistic, but that's not the reality. Let's say there's a best course, right? Somebody make a best course for you. They are teaching really good grammar, everything. So what is the course? Course is telling you the rules of the grammar, some important vocabulary, some connecting words, stuff like that. So maybe there's some practice you're doing. Mostly it's like a passive, you're consuming it through videos, you're listening, and maybe you are filling the blanks, whatever. You're learning some vocabulary, you have some exercises of with writing, whatever, right? So you have a lot of information, right? So these are the tools. It tells you, okay, what you need to do, when you wanna speak Punjabi, stuff like that, all right? So when you know all the rules, let's say you took a course, you learn all the rules, is it mean you're fluent? No, you are not fluent. You just know the rule. If I give you same example, um, like let's say if you're learning any sports, let's say if you're learning a football and I told you how to kick the ball, how to pass, how to power shot, how to like hit a controller shot, whatever, and how to dribble, everything I teach you, this is how you're gonna do. Would you learn it? No, you have to do practice. You have to do it. Same with the gym. If I give you diet plan, if I teach you some like exercises, techniques, all right, and I told you, okay, this is your um training routine. That's what you're gonna do Monday to Friday, whatever. And I also teach you some techniques. I show you how to use these machines. I told you, okay, these kind of diet you should eat. In this diet, these kind of vitamins. Now you have all information you learn. Like just knowing these things, like well, it build your muscle or well, it lose your fat, whatever your goal is. No, so then what you need to do is now you have information. Now you have to do the practice, and it's gonna take time. It's gonna take years. All right. So basically, when you have a course, you know some any like a grammar rules, vocabulary. It's not gonna make you fluent. But gonna make you fluent is talking, all right, or speaking and listening. Listening is very underrated, all right. You have to listen a lot because I understand at the beginning, if you're really beginner, you can't. I'm also gonna tell you if you're really beginner what to do. Let's say if you're intermediate level, you can understand some Punjabi. Then listening is very important because if you listen a lot, you consume a lot, you learn new vocabulary, and so because of the listening, now you can produce more because you have more input now. That's how you can like produce output. When you don't have input, you can't like produce output, all right? First you need to know, all right? Then you would basically, how would you know? You would know by listening. When you listen, you would know the pronunciation, then you try to speak like that. So listening is underrated, so you need to listen a lot. And yeah, also definitely you have to speak. almost every day. So here, most of the Punjabi learn make mistakes. They take courses, all right? They take courses, and in those courses, they're teaching you a lot of vocabulary, all right? Even a lot of like a grammar rules, the formal rules, which it doesn't even we use when we speak Punjabi. So you are putting effort to learn those, but you're not putting effort to real conversation. That's the real thing. I gave you the example earlier, going to the gym or learning any sport. Same with the language when you're learning. So that's the biggest mistake people make. They don't do practice. Practice is number one thing, all right? Now, let's say you're a beginner. Now, let's say you don't know anything. Now, what to do? Maybe you're going to take a Punjabi course or whatever. Maybe you're learning it from teacher. Okay, that's fine. It's okay if you take course, all right? Now, let's say you took a course, all right? You learn some grammar rules. What's next? Then you need to do practice. Practice with who? You can practice by yourself. You can practice with your friends. You need to put more effort. But if you find a teacher, it's also good. It's even much better because teacher can find your mistake and he can correct you, all right? And number one thing, when your teacher is teaching you, is make sure they're teaching you spoken Punjabi, because that's your goal. You don't want to learn formal textbook style because you are not gonna give the exam. What you're gonna do, you just wanna speak to the people, all right? So that's why you need to learn that, and you make sure you are on with the right person, all right? Or you're learning the right Punjabi language. Okay, now let's say you're a beginner. What you need to do? My advice is you're learning by yourself or from teacher. First, if you know anything, maybe you know one or two words like a sasri or something like that. Ki hala ke man. That's what you know, right? First, you you need to know very basic verbs, all right? Let's say you make a list of the verb. Let's say maybe 10 or 20 verbs, all right? Verb simple, like the verb see, watch, eat, drink, something like a very basic verbs, or maybe 20 verbs we can think about, like we use a lot in every day. Those will write it down, all right? Because you're a beginner, you know nothing. So you write down maybe 20 verbs, and write 20 words like nouns, very simple nouns. It could be a car, it could be like a name like a car, wall, chair, water. These kind of like a noun, maybe 20, 30, like a noun. 3 days, you memorize. Maybe you don't memorize all, but memorize, all right? Now you have to use them in sentences, all right? Now you have to use them in sentences, because if even you know nothing, you basically know nothing. You like a lot of people make a mistake. Even the teacher make mistakes. They are teaching them all the rules of the grammar, and sometimes it's overwhelming when you try to learn all the rules, but you're not using them in sentences much. You're not trying to speak. Maybe you're doing the writing stuff. You're doing writing exercise on the paper. It looks, oh, maybe you're learning, you can write. No, but you need to speak as well, all right? Okay, now you know some words. Now you have to make sentences. For example, let's say you learn some verb. Let's say you learn the verb drink, all right? What other word you know? You know the word the word like a pani. Pani means a water. Drink means pina, right? So this is the word. So let's say you know these two, all right? And you also need to learn the pronouns, pronouns, like a I, we, he, she. In Punjabi, like a man, tum, tusi, asi, like that, all right? Or like a sanu, tenu, onu, sada, mera. So yeah, if you don't know, you can check out my pronouns podcast when I explain about the pronouns, because it's also very important, because that's how you're gonna basically use in sentences, because it's the basic thing to know pronouns, all right? Okay, now you know pronouns, all right? Now you wanna say, I want to drink water, all right? So you also need to learn when you wanna just want in Punjabi, how do you choose, all right? So want means chauna or chahinda, all right? But when you're gonna use in sentence, Like you can say main pani pina chona. All right, main means I, pani means a water. All right, pina means a drink. All right, chona means you want. All right, you learn this sentence, but this is more textbook style. Mostly we don't use chona when we speak. We just say main pani pina. So the verb pina, all right, which means a drink, pina. So you say main pani pina. So again, you need to know the Punjabi grammar. First is a subject or pronoun, then we have an object. The verb is at the end. In English, it's in the middle. The verb is in the middle, like I wanna drink water. So the object is at the end in English. But in Punjabi, is verb at the end, all right? So you know the structure. When you come advanced level, sometimes we don't follow the same structure, but if you're a beginner, you need to follow this one. So, okay, you say I want to drink water. You say main pani pina. Now you say I want to eat apple, right? So you say main save khana, all right? So this verb pina khana you learn. You are just using the same way, all right? So if you say I want to drink tea, you say main cha pini hai, right? You say main cha pini hai. So basically you learn all the sentence how to say you want it. Now you want to use how to say in the past. Like let's say if you say yesterday I drank a lot of water, you say kal main bahut pani pita. So this word pina becomes a pita in the past. All right, pita. So if you want to say like a tomorrow for future, I will drink water tomorrow. You say main kal nu pani piyunga. So this word pina become piyunga. So now you know the structure, how verb changes in past, in present, or in future. It's very basic. You don't know all the rules of the grammar. You don't know all the tenses, but you know very basic. You know, okay, how to use in past, how to use in present, how to use in future. That's it. All right, that's it. Now you know few verbs, maybe 10, 20 verbs, how you can use in past and present and future. From that, you need to speak. All right. So because mostly we talk about like a past or maybe in the future, like maybe you're gonna tell a story what you did yesterday, or maybe you're gonna tell a story what you're gonna do tomorrow. So this is how I teach my students. If somebody is really beginner, I teach them some verbs and I tell them how we use in the past, in present, and future. All right. Then right after that, I just wanna tell them like how was your day? Tell me, whatever you learn those verbs, use those verbs and just try to make some sentences. After like a few days, they try to make sentences. Definitely they're not fluent, but like they know how to use these verbs, in the past. So slowly, when they're practicing, when they're telling me or anybody, they are practicing. When they're practicing with me, telling me how was their day was. So it basically they are having a conversation from very start. After a few days, even they were really beginner, now they start making the sentences. They were telling me how was their day, and because I told them how to use these verbs in the past, then I'm gonna ask them, what are you gonna do tomorrow? Tell me. So use the same verbs in for tomorrow. Very simple. Like let's say yesterday you watched TV, you went to the city, right? You drank tea, you drink whatever the water. You watched a movie, you run, all right, or you walked. So there's very few basic activity. Now you want to tell me, because already we discussed those verbs. You have to basically tell me some basic stuff, and now you will try to tell me, all right. So when you try to tell me, so first you would speak slower. Definitely you would forget the verbs. So I tell, okay, this the verb is. But like if you are doing consistently in those very basic stuff, very basic verbs, you become fluent because you're using them every day, very quickly. In a few months, you will become fluent in that stuff. You would able to tell your day, how was your day in the past and future. You become fluent in those. So now our first step, we can become fluent in very basic stuff. All right. You don't know nothing much. If somebody's asking you some complicated question, you don't know. but you become a fluent in very small thing to tell how your day was, what you gonna do tomorrow, right? This is our base. This is our base because we become fluent. Now we're gonna expand it little by little. We're gonna expand, we're gonna learn new vocabulary, we're gonna learn different kind of sentences, now conditional sentences, how to talk about if you have some kind of obligation, how to talk about, if you want to give a suggestion. Slowly we're gonna learn new vocabulary, new grammar. We are expanding, we are adding more stuff to our practice. This is the basically the way to learn. If you learn all the grammar rule at the beginning, you're not using it in your speaking, you make it complicated because now you have a lot of information, you don't have practice. All right. So practice is the number one thing. You should start practice speaking as much as possible if you're a beginner. If you're intermediate level, maybe advanced level, you make some mistakes a little bit like maybe in when you talk in past or future in the ending, but like you can understand a lot when somebody speaks. Now you don't need grammar rules much. You don't need to like learn from the book or stuff like that. You need to do conversation, and there should be a one person who can tell you, okay, this is the mistake. This is how you make a mistake at the end, or this specific sentence. Where is your mistake? Maybe very little mistake, and then you have to correct it and try to use it. So slowly you become basically correct yourself. You will basically correct your mistakes. Or you can also do it by yourself. If you're advanced level, it's a little bit more hard work than teacher. So what you can do is every day you're gonna speak something. Maybe you're gonna talk about some topic, whatever you're interested in. Let's say you're talking in sports. You can basically turn on your recorder. You're gonna record yourself. You're gonna talk about some things, what you watch today, what you played today. Like you talk to somebody else. You're gonna basically do, and then you record. When you're gonna listen it, and then you will try to find the mistake. Only that person can do who already know the grammar, like they know, okay, where's the mistake, but like they still make a mistake because when they speak, when we speak, mostly we don't think about, there's some mistakes we make automatically, but we already know correct grammar, but like still our brain like forgets. So those kind of people can correct themselves, but like if you don't even notice the mistake, then you can't do by yourself, then you need somebody else to correct. All right. So my point is, when you're learning from these courses, all right, so if you take these courses because you think you're gonna be fluent, no, you're not gonna be fluent. All right. A lot of courses, maybe they're gonna teach you some vocabulary, maybe some grammar rules. That's it. All right. Now you have to go through by yourself. So that's why there are a lot of Punjabi courses could be a misleading if they're telling you you're gonna be fluent in 3 or 6 months. It's not gonna happen. Maybe they will teach you some grammar rules. Now you have to do something with those grammar rules. You have to practice. You should have some people, maybe your family member, maybe you can talk to yourself, maybe you should have a teacher. You have to do it, and make sure when you're practicing, this is very important, when you're practicing speaking, make sure you practicing or correct Punjabi. It shouldn't be a textbook style. If you start speaking textbook style, it looks so weird because nobody's talk like that. That's why it's weird. But like it's not like it is not like you're saying wrong. It's not like we won't understand. We understand, but it looks weird. All right. And another thing you need to learn is how Punjabi people talk in different dialects. And most of the time when you're taking a Punjabi course, you don't find these kind of dialects. They tell you a simple or like a textbook style grammar or some vocabulary, and you learn it. All right. Now the problem is, because if you don't learn, you just struggle to understand Punjabi people. All right. And that's why most of the courses, when they create, is they create formal because easier there's only one way, but like if they want to include informal, maybe they have to tell you like a sentence, some sentences like a 4 times. For example, there's a continuous tense, all right? If you want to say I'm watching TV, you can say as a formal man TV dekh raha haan, all right? But it depends on the dialogue. Some people say मैं TV देखण दियां, मैं TV देखी जाना, मैं TV देखदा. There's 3 or 4 styles. If they want to teach you all 4 styles, it's like a 4x hard work. You have to put more hard work in their courses. So that's why mostly they just choose safer route and they only tell you the formal, all right? So when it comes to learning, you need to learn all 3, 4 styles. It's not like every sentence is like that, but like a few one, like especially the continuous tense is like a 4 style. Like a Majha dialogue is like a ki karan diyan, the Malwa dialogue ki kari jana, something like what are you doing? So kari jana and karan diyan, like a standard way like a kar rahe hain, something like that. So you can pick one which is like easier for you, which you like most, but it's also good to know the other one, other style, you know. For example, like I never use tunki karne. Like if I want to say, what are you doing? I never say tunki karne. This is not my style. This is not how people talk in my area. But I know if somebody is talking to me like that, I know what he is saying. Same with you. You can stick to the one, whatever you like to say, but you also know others for understanding, for conversation. You know, you still gonna use your way, but you're gonna learn other people's, like other people's Punjabi or other people's dialogue as well. So anyway, at the end, I'm gonna give you suggestion. If you wanna take courses, all right, you can take courses, but remember, because most of the courses it's only recording videos, some PDF files, probably um some vocabulary list. So if you're gonna take course because you think you become fluent, it's not gonna make you fluent. If you already know some grammar rules, you are kind of intermediate level, then probably most of the course is useless for you. All right, because you intermediate level, you can already have a conversation. Now you want to make it advanced. So make it to advanced, you need speaking practice. Listen more and speak. That's what you need if you are intermediate level or you advanced level, you know. You don't need to learn all the rules because you already know. Maybe in your head you think, oh, because I don't know. No, mostly you know. Only the thing is you need to basically um revive them. Like you just need to revive them, and just because you already can speak, now you need to basically speak a little bit more accurately, all right, with a better pronunciation. So that's what you need, and mostly courses won't tell you that much. So if you're a beginner, you can take courses because I think you would basically become familiar to the grammar rules, stuff like that, if they're offering in the course. But mostly it just gives you some information. It won't make you fluent. All right. So next time when you're going to take a course, just think, okay, you are taking this course because you want some information. That's it. Don't expect to be fluent. The fluency comes different. It becomes after speaking and listening for year, all right, or more than a year. So anyway, this was my realistic take on courses, and I hope you understand it, you enjoy this podcast episode, and you learned something new today. I'll be back with another day with another lesson.